Namaste. Before following any advice or practices suggested in this video, it is always recommended that you consult with your doctor as to its suitability, especially if you suffer from any health problems or special conditions. Yamajit, John Hollisby Mayer, and Tridevi Chamunda Mandir cannot accept any responsibility for any injuries or damages incurred as a result of the exercises and meditations contained in this video. Namaste, and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamajit, and so glad that you could join me this evening. So we're going to be starting a new series for our Tuesday satsangs. I'm going to be reading and sharing and commenting. Let's see if I can get this to actually show up on camera. On this scripture here, the Kriya Yoga Upanashad. And some of you may have read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. The Kriya Yoga Upanashad is actually kind of a condensed version of the Yoga Sutras. So this is going to serve as just a wonderful introduction to yogic philosophies, yogic psychology, and also some basic practices as well. And I'll be doing some kind of practice, asana, pranayama, meditation, related to what we're going to be studying in each chapter. So with that, we're going to begin with just a simple yin yoga, real gentle yin yoga practice, really for stress and anxiety. This would be a nice one that you can do at the end of a difficult work day to begin to relax again. And then we'll do our short scriptural study. And then we'll end with a short puja with a meditation. And this is going to be one that's going to involve mantras for both Shiva, the male dynamic principle, and Shakti, the receptive female. And I'd like to thank one of our regular viewers, Anoop Thomas of India, who taught me the sadhana in which tonight's meditation is going to be based. A couple of announcements of upcoming events. So this coming Friday at 7 o'clock will be an outdoor fire puja and satsang to the Kali Nitya goddess Deepa Nitya, which means eternal flame. This is installment 9 of our series for the 15 Kali Nitya goddesses. The following 2 Fridays, the 18th of September, will be our monthly Yoga Nidra meditation and Devi Puja. And then the last Friday of the month, the 25th, will be installment 10 of the Kali Nitya series. Oh, pardon me. Allergies. The goddess Nila, which means black or darkness. For our Tuesday satsangs, we'll be continuing the series that we're beginning this evening, and some kind of exciting news. Next week, June 15th, I'll be opening up the Tuesday satsangs in the same way that our Friday pujas have been. That is, you can join either through live broadcast on YouTube or recorded broadcast for that matter, or you'll be welcomed to attend here at our temple, 1260 South Xavier Street, Denver, Colorado, 80219. The pujas or satsangs on Tuesdays and Fridays will always begin very promptly at 7 o'clock for the sake of the broadcasts. And I look forward to you joining me in person. So, hopefully you have your mat and props handy. Um, Yoga mats, cushions, maybe some blankets. For part of our meditation, a chair is going to be very useful. And if you don't have a chair, you can use some other piece of furniture like a couch, or we're going to be doing legs up the wall, legs up the chair. If you have a wall um, in your house or home that doesn't have pictures hanging on it or other things, you can also just bring your legs straight up the wall for this very restorative pose that we're going to be doing. So to begin, I invite you to find that comfortable seat, whatever that means for you and your body today. So just some cross-legged position where you can sit comfortably for opening practices. You can also do this beginning part in a chair as well, if that's more comfortable for you. But I invite you just to sit comfortably with a straight back, close your eyes, and as usual, we're going to begin with slow, deep yogic breath. Full inhalations and exhalations. Inhaling by expanding the belly and then the chest, and exhaling by bringing in the chest and then bringing the belly toward the spine. Bringing complete flow of air in and out of the lungs, even its most deepest regions. And using this time to let the concerns of the day, the concerns of yesterday, the concerns of tomorrow simply drop away. Just letting it go of any possible distractions within the mind. Centering on the present. Giving this time for yourself, for exploration, for relaxation, for healing, for learning. And focusing your attention on your heart center. Taking a moment to silently connect to whatever form of the divine you're closest to. Perhaps visualizing that form of deity, that form of divinity. And if it feels right, you can even express a short intention for where you'd like the energies of this practice to go towards. Just some small aspect of your life that's ready for healing or transformation. Maybe visualizing what resolution in that area might look like or sound like or feel like. And then slowly bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And we'll begin our practice by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale. Inhale and exhale, slowly opening your eyes. So we're going to begin with a real relaxing pranayama practice, nadi shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. So the way I like to demo it is using the peace fingers on your right hand, placing them over your third eye, and that's a good place to focus while doing this exercise because the solar and lunar channels, Pingala and Ida, converge in this place. Using your thumb and ring finger to close and open the nostrils. Sitting with a straight back, eyes closed. And bringing your thumb against your right nostril and inhaling slowly through the left. And blocking off the left with the ring finger and exhaling and inhaling through the right. Closing off the right and exhaling and inhaling through the left. And slowly going back and forth. More exhalation and inhalation on the right when you get there. And opening the left, and one final exhalation. And just sitting comfortably with your eyes closed. And just checking in and seeing how you're feeling as a result of our breathing practices. Hopefully you feel calmer, more centered. And slowly opening your eyes. And then straightening your legs. Bringing your toes up toward the ceiling. Rolling the shoulders back, bringing the fingers to the mat. And first, finding Dandasana or staff pose. Then inhaling nice and tall. And exhaling, sliding the hands forward. Just finding that comfortable stopping point. Breathing deeply. And finding sitting forward fold. In yin yoga, this is called caterpillar. But just holding this asana. Coming deeper into the pose if body and breath allow. Coming out a little bit if there's discomfort. Or if you'd like a little bit more of a stretch. Bringing your fingers to your toes to give yourself a little leverage. If that feels right to do. Knees can be slightly bent. In fact, a variation of this asana. You can have a rolled blanket under your knees if that's more comfortable. Feeling a nice stretch on the back of the legs. And then inhaling up slowly. Rolling the shoulders back, pointing the fingers behind, and just lifting the heart toward the ceiling. Just a nice little counter pose to help neutralize the spine. And then coming to a more comfortable position, taking a couple of breaths. Just feeling the effects of the practice. And then finding a safe way to transition to your knees. Actually, I'll move this chair temporarily. Bringing the knees a little wide. About hip width apart. Hands stacked under the shoulders, slight bend to the elbows. Nice deep inhale. And then exhale, sliding the hands forward, bending the knees. Bringing your forehead to the mat and breathing deeply in Balasana, or child's pose. If there's any discomfort in the lower back, you can widen the knees. Or again, if you'd like a more challenging stretch, you can bring them closer together. Feeling a nice stretch across the shoulders. Just resting and breathing deeply. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, bringing the hands back. Coming back into tabletop. A couple of cat-cow stretches just to, again, neutralize the spine. Just check in with yourself and see how things are feeling. And then find a safe way to transition onto your back. Beginning first with your feet flat on the floor, knees up. Hands a comfortable distance from the body. Then bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees drop toward the mat. Some of you might find it more comfortable if you have some cushions under your knees. You can also try arm placement to make things a little more comfortable, especially in the shoulder area if that's necessary. Or a small cushion or folded blanket under the head can be helpful. But just breathing deeply in this excellent hip opener. Reclined Baddha Konasana, butterfly. You can also make things more comfortable if you need to by changing the location of the feet. But just lying back and breathing. And just letting the hips open naturally. Relax the shoulders and the arms and your face, your throat, your chest, your abdominals. Just surrender yourself to the pose. sure the face is relaxed and your eyes and the jaw. Nice deep inhalation. And exhale, bringing the knees back up. Feet flat on the floor, just resting. And then inhale. Exhale, bringing your left arm across your chest. Inhale. And exhale, letting the knees drop to the right and just coming onto your side. Resting on your side for a moment. And then scooting over towards your chair. Or again, if you have a wall with nothing on it, this will work too. And we're going to start out on our side. And then when you feel ready, inhale. And then exhale. Bringing the legs up so they're resting on the chair. Forming a T with your arms. Breathing deeply, relaxing. Folded blanket under the head might make things a little more comfortable. If you weren't using a chair, again, straight legs up the wall work as well. But breathing, relaxing. Bringing some blood back toward the center of the body. Again, noticing any areas of tension, and as you breathe, you can just consciously try to relax those muscles in that area. Head, face, throat, shoulders, chest, abdomen, the legs. Again, just letting yourself surrender to gravity. Then taking a nice deep inhale and exhale, bringing the knees to the chest. holding them with your arms and just doing a little rocking back and forth. You can try some up and down motions too. And then inhale, exhale. Bring your feet down back down to the mat. And if you can, just scoot in such a way that you can be flat on your back. Feet about hip width apart. Hands turned up toward the ceiling. Nice comfortable distance from the body. Eyes are closed, breathing deeply. And just relaxing in Shavasana. And again, breathing deeply. Just noticing areas of tension and just letting your breath help and consciously relaxing those muscles that you notice might be a little tight. Breathing tension away with each exhalation. Increasing inhalation with each relaxation with each inhalation. And then nice deep inhale. And bending your knees, bringing your feet flat to the floor. And inhale. And exhale, bringing your left arm across your chest. Inhale. Exhale, dropping the knees to the right. Again, resting on your side for a moment. And then engaging your arms to bring yourself back up into a seated position so that we can begin our scriptural study, short puja, and meditation. Oops. Knew that was going to happen one day. Adding a little something to my altar. So this is the Kriya Yoga Upanashad, translated by Goswami Kriyananda, who was a disciple of Paramahamsa Yogananda of autobiography of a yogi fame. I'm going to start by reading the introduction. The Kriya Yoga Upanashad covers the same 8 stages of yoga as does Patanjali's Kriya Yoga Sutras, from the external to the internal practices. It is a good companion volume to Patanjali's text because he does not mention the chakras or the nadis, nor the 10 pranas. The Upanishads allots large sections to the discussion of these metaphysical subjects and to the Kriya Kundalini. The author of this ancient Upanishad, whose name is lost in history, includes the study of esoteric anatomy, which is usually only given verbally to disciples. The esoteric cosmology covers the symbolically important places of pilgrimage inside the yogi's astral body. I've talked before about the 3 main nadis, or 3 main energy channels. Pingala on the right, Ida on the left, Sushumna running down the center, down through the spine. In Kriya Yoga, we move energy up and down that central channel. We're actually going to be doing that a little bit in our meditation at the end of our broadcast. And in sacred anatomy, those 3 channels represent 3 sacred rivers in India. The Upanishad also indicates that a spiritual pilgrimage is and where the true river Ganges, the holy city of Varanasi, or previously known as Benares, are to be found. The text emphasizes the ideal of devotion to the disciple's personal chosen concept of reality as a basic prerequisite for advancement into esoteric yoga practices. A large number of esoteric Sanskrit terms have been removed from this text, making it more intelligible to the modern reader. However, some words could not be meaningfully translated and thus remain in it. The esoteric wisdom contained in this Upanishad requires study and meditation in order to achieve a true understanding of its vital cosmology. The Upanishad, the Yoga Sutras, along with my edition of the Gita, were written primarily for the student who is walking the path alone, as well as for the student who's preparing his mind for the spiritual future. For when the student is ready, the Guru will appear. This Upanishad was written a long time ago, but be sure to use common sense in your modern everyday living, so as not to cause your family disharmony nor yourself any spiritual discord, in service to the Kriya Dharma Goswami Kriyananda. And so this would be worth mentioning at this point, that there's a great variety of short scriptures called Upanishads. They're not included in the original 108 scriptures, which were written after the 4 original large scriptures, the Vedas. The Vedas they started writing the Vedas down about 3,500 years ago. Originally, they were transmitted orally for who knows how long. And then after which the Upanishads were written as commentaries on the Vedas or as descriptions of practices or stories, all inspired by the Vedic literature. A lot of these smaller, lesser Upanishads were written fairly recent, maybe just a few centuries ago, but they still convey very important wisdom. In my second book, Kali Meditation Book 2, I mentioned a minor Upanishad called the Syama Upanishad, which was actually a medieval work. And it's really a how-to guide in constructing a Kali yantra and doing a puja to it. So this is one of the minor Upanishads. So chapter 1, spiritual restraints, also known as the yamas. Hail, O great Lord, with 4 arms, guardian of the world, king of the yogis who reigns and holds the secrets of the science of yoga. That's an invocation to Lord Shiva. One day, a disciple named Sanskriti, like the language associated with the power of the word and of mantra, was secluded with his guru. He bowed and folded his hands and asked, Master, teach me the complete science of Kriya Yoga with its 8 steps. For the understanding this science, I can become a liberated soul, yet embodied. The guru, named Dattatreya, replied, I will explain the science if you listen attentively. Now, Dattatreya, the guru, is none other than Lord Shiva himself in this form, also known as Shiva Trimurti. So Lord Shiva with 3 faces. And these represent the powers of creation, preservation, and destruction. And also, like Shiva's trident, they represent, again, those 3 main energy channels, Ida, Pingla, and Shushumna. The 3 faces also represent 3 functions of the divine. Icha Shakti, the power of will, Jnana Shakti, the power of knowledge, and Kriya Shakti, the power of action. So Shiva is regarded as the original yogi. He's guru to the gods themselves. So the guru then said the 8 stages are: 1 is restraint, yamas; observance, niyamas; posture, asana; breath control, pranayama; sense withdrawal, pratyahara; concentration, dharana; meditation, dhyana; and samadhi, merging with the divine. When we see a list of the 8 limbs of yoga in really the basis of traditional Ashtanga yoga, which I was taught when doing my yoga teacher training, you tend to see it as this rather linear list. A few years ago, I had the privilege of getting to hear the yogi Amrit Desai speak when he came to Denver. And one of the first things he mentioned was these 8 limbs of yoga and how we tend to make the mistake of viewing it like a ladder. So first we go through the restraints, then we go through the observances, then we learn asana. And it's really not that way. It's something that we are going through all out 8 stages continuously. So it might be better to visualize them as being something like a wheel. And that's actually one of the reasons why so often when I begin a yoga class or meditation, I purposely do a little warm-up where I invite you to concentrate, to focus on that divine presence within yourself. In other words, we're starting our session out with a little bit of samadhi, not just ending it that way. So chapter 1 is the spiritual restraints. The 10 restraints or yamas of yoga are: 1, do not harm; 2, do not lie; 3, do not steal; 4, do not dissipate, also called countenance. 5, not to be violent. And the secondary spiritual restraints: 6, not to be restless. 7, not to be insipid. 8, not to be weak. 9, not to be gluttonous. And 10, not to be unclean. Nonviolence, ahimsa, is the great restraint of not doing malicious things to any entity in thought, word, or deed. Now, true nonviolence is recognizing that the indwelling spirit is present in every being, yet inaccessible to the physical senses. All that exists is the living reality. Therefore, be nonviolent to all beings. So this is an important aspect of the philosophy right here. We're talking about a non-dualistic philosophy. The divine isn't this something up in heaven or wherever that we're disconnected from and we're making actions here on earth to appease. The divine is something that is within each of us and also in all things all around us. And so because of that, when we see another person or even an animal, there's this recognition that I'm part of the divine, and so is this other being. So we want to use restraint. We want to carefully consider how we treat this other individual. Now, something that occurred to me many years ago when I was still, really before I took up this particular path and I was still active in the local pagan community, there's this principle called the Wiccan Rede. And it harm not, and it harm none, do as you will. Well, we're beings on this earth, and in reality, it's impossible to completely do no harm. I mean, even if you're a strict vegan, you're still going to be a plant predator. As we walk down the street or we walk across a lawn, we might inadvertently step on something. But again, through doing this work, through realizing that divine presence around us, we can at least make sound decisions that cause the least amount of harm possible. And that's not just harm to other beings, but also avoiding harm or reducing harm to ourselves as well. Righteousness, actually, here we go. What you perceive by your sight, by your hearing, by your thinking, and by your other senses in reality, to your ego personally. Righteousness is ceasing to covet the possessions of others. So another part of this work is realizing what you truly need and not being distracted by other things out there and maybe the temptations to obtain those things through unethical means. Chastity is abstaining from contact with souls for sexual purpose, with the exception of the spouse following her period, and then without distracting your mind from the search. So this particular yama has had a lot of modern interpretations. So many look upon this as in gender relations, in our sexuality, practicing it in the most ethical, thoughtful, spiritual fashion possible. And coming from a tantric background, one thing I will say that I think relates strongly to this verse is in the practices of sacred sexuality, the practices of Neo-Tantra especially. And this is coming from personal experience. Doing this sort of work with somebody that you're in a committed relationship with is truly going to be much more powerful, much more significant. You're going to come to much deeper understandings. Again, if this is being done with somebody that you've got this deep, committed relationship with. This is a means through seeing the divine in one another and within yourselves as well. Compassion is seeing your fellow human beings as though they were you in thought, word, and deed. There's the golden rule right there. Equanimity is acting the same way toward each soul, no matter what the status of that soul or what that soul does or does not do. The eighth restraint is yield not to the weakness of anger, especially if there is just cause. By renunciation of things in this world and by the study of sacred texts, wisdom is vivified. Firm belief is understanding the yoga watchword, I am the reality, nothing less. Hamsa, or also pronounced Soham, I am that. Gluttony is conquered by leaving on the plate 1/4 of what is served for you. In doing so, you will make fast progress on the path of yoga. Keeping your body clean, washing it daily will purify outside the body. Essentially, in taking care of yourself physically, you're also going to help take care of yourself mentally and spiritually as well. But do not forget to purify the mind by remembering that you are pure spirit. This physical shell is really like a suit of clothes. Forgetting to cleanse the mind while keeping the external body clean will cause you to lose everything that is sacred. The yogi who fills himself with the ambrosia of wisdom has as his main obligation the continual enhancement of his wisdom. The yogi who says farewell to the world and drinks of the holy nectar, still believing he has worldly obligations, is not worthy of being called a sage, a yogi. To know the indwelling spirit is to know there is nothing else worth doing in the external or internal worlds. Through the restraints, you come to realize that the individual indwelling spirit is identical to the cosmic spirit. And that again is really the process of Kriya yoga, really all forms of yoga and meditation, is we're turning our awareness away from all these external material distractions, bringing our awareness within and finding that divine presence within. Now, at the same time, though, that doesn't mean that renunciation means totally quitting the world. The goal of this work really isn't to put on a white robe, sit in a cave, and be in this constant state of samadhi. There's a wonderful story from the beginning of modern Kriya Yoga. This goes back to 1860. The person who began teaching it at that time was Lahiri Mashaya. And when he's up in the Himalayas and he meets his guru, Mahavatar Babaji, Mashaya Lahiri is ready to just surrender everything, just leave everything behind and follow his guru. And Babaji says, you can't do that. You need to go back to your hometown of Varanasi, come back to your family, continue being a householder, but teach this work to others, to anybody who wants to learn it. And that's really the beginning of the modern Kriya Yoga movement. So really the purpose of this work is we find that divine presence within, and we become outlets of that divine energy to those around us. We're becoming beacons of the divine ourselves in our own spheres of influence. Jai Ma, Om Namah Shivaya. So in our puja this evening, we're going to do a meditation using mantra, and we're also going to use the breath and the movement of energy, and we're going to get in touch with Shakti energy, feminine, receptive energy, and Shiva energy, dynamic, masculine energy. So I invite you to again find a comfortable seated position where your back can be straight. It can be on the mat, or it can be in a chair, depending on what your body is telling you right now. Let us acknowledge that we are doing this work for transformation, for understanding, for growth, and for healing. And in that light, for our puja, I would like to remember the mother of one of our regular viewers, Achala, who's currently hospitalized. Let some of the energies of our mantras go toward her recovery. So let's begin by taking a deep inhale and chanting Om. And our puja mantra, the seed syllables for the chakras. Lam Vam Ramyam Ham Om. 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 So I invite you to close your eyes, breathe deeply And first we're going to honor Shakti. I'm going to do a mala of the Nivarna mantra. I invite you to just meditate on the sound of the mantra, or if you know it, you can repeat it out loud as well, or mentally. Om Aing Reem Kleem Chamundai Viche. 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 Breathe deeply, feeling the energies and the power of the mantra and of divine Shakti. Feel it surrounding you, feeling it within and without. Letting those energies concentrate to areas physically or in your life where that is needed. Also thinking of others in need. Including the earth as well. Jema. 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 So for the Shiva phase of our meditation, we're going to use parts of the mantra Om Namah Shivaya, and different syllables will be focused on in different areas of the body. So as we do each portion, I invite you to, I'm going to give you some choices. You can just focus your breath and attention on that area. And something else you can do is we're going to start in the lower abdomen. As we chant the mantra, you can imagine the energy going from the first chakra at the base of the spine and the perineum to this second chakra, the genital area, lower abdomen. So as you chant the mantra, you can imagine a current of energy going from the base to the second chakra through the Sushumna, the central channel. While chanting, something else you could try doing if you're doing the energy raising is to squeeze the pelvic floor. Basically, you're going to engage the same muscles as you would if you were stopping a stream of urine. And that'll help in the raising of that energy. Or again, you can just focus your breath and attention on that area. So the syllable we're going to repeat 3 times as a mantra is Na. And so again, focus on the lower abdomen or raising the energy a little bit from first to second chakra. And again, you can also squeeze the pelvic floor as you do that. So closing your eyes, inhale. deeply. And just feel the effects of those energies in the lower abdomen area, lower abdominal area. You can include the lower extremities as well. And so for the next syllable, we're going to focus on the upper abdominal area, solar plexus area. And if you want, you can, as you chant the next syllable, which is ma, you can imagine energy going from the root to the solar plexus. And as you inhale, returning back down to the root. You can also squeeze the pelvic floor as you chant. Relax as you inhale. Breathe deeply. And just feel that energy in the upper abdominal area. And now we're going to move up to the heart area, focusing on the heart area. If you want, you can raise energy from the root to the heart. And the mantra is Shi. 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 Breathing deeply, feeling that heart and chest area energized. Now we're going to move up to the throat with the syllable of Bai. Again, breathe deeply. Feeling the throat and the shoulders and the arms and the hands energized. That energy flow to the lower jaw area. And now the final syllable, third eye and crown. You can raise the energy up to those two chakras as you chant and lower it as you inhale. where you can just focus on that brain area. Ah is the mantra. Breathe deeply, feeling that brain area energized, including the eyes, third eye area. And then just breathe deeply and meditate as I repeat that mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, 9 times. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 And just relax. Feeling that Shiva energy as you relax in a place of stillness and silence. And just absorbing the energies of the practice. And if you want to send some of that energy to someone else, you can too. And then letting that energy just settle in the heart area. Fostering awareness of that divine presence within so that it can lead you in the days ahead. Bringing the palms of your hands together to your heart center and listening to our benediction. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Giving gratitude to yourself for taking part in this practice tonight. Slowly opening your eyes. Om Tat Sat Om. Jai Ma Shakti. Om Namah Shivaya. And namaste. Blessings always. And thank you so very much for joining me. Thomas, thank you for your comment. Thank you for being here. As always, if you have questions, comments, please feel free to email me at my channel. And I invite you to replay this broadcast, try the meditation, try the yoga, incorporate what works for you in your regular practice. And have a wonderful night, a wonderful week ahead. I look forward to you joining me on Friday for our Kali Nitya Puja and Satsang. Jai Ma, have a wonderful night. Thank you again.